Hey, what's up, guys? And happy Wednesday. This is Cam from Cam's Retro Gaming. I had a lot of fun with the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Gaming Memories video. So I'd like to share with you probably my absolute favorite gaming memory. This has to do, obviously, with the Nintendo Game Boy. So I want to say this was probably 1990. I remember it just being a typical normal morning. We were about to go on a trip to Alabama to visit my grandparents on my dad's side. And then all of a sudden, my mom pulls out a Game Boy. And I could not believe it. I didn't ask for one. I didn't want, well, of course I wanted one. But the only time I'd ever seen a Game Boy is when one of my classmates brought her brothers in for show and tell when I was in kindergarten. So to see this Game Boy in a box and also with Super Mario Land, I was just absolutely blown away. And the Game Boy became a staple of road trips for years and years to come until my dad told me to turn it off because the light in the back was too bright. So, sorry, my cat is trying to get downstairs in the basement. I hope you can't hear that. Anyway. So, okay, we'll get back to it. So, unexpected present, and it was an absolute staple of my childhood for years to come. Anyway, the Game Boy, of course, it came with Tetris, which I have right here. Also a staple of my childhood. And then, Super Mario Land, which to this day is one of my absolute favorite Mario video games. A few years ago, I ended up beating it and have beat it, I think, twice in my adult years. Never beat it as a kid. But got pretty far. Just didn't really, there's a couple. There's that one level with the, I guess the Moyas, or whatever, with those the Easter Island heads, I think they're called. But I never could really get past that as a kid. But finally did as an adult, and was surprised as to see the last level as like a shoot 'em up. So it's pretty interesting. So those two games are pretty important to me. And then I also put a lot of hours into, we'll start with this one, Fall of the Foot Clan, which is, as an adult playing it, that game is very slow, but, I was a Ninja Turtles fan like most kids. And this is one I distinctly remember beating in the back of my parents' car on an original Game Boy. Don't ask me how I did it, because I couldn't imagine really playing, very, I guess, competitively, or, with the original Game Boy now, it being kind of the screen kind of blur and everything. But this is when I beat as a kid. Had a lot of fun with it. I also remember purchasing Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle on a trip also to Alabama at some point in the mall. I remember picking that game out. I think my grandmother bought it for me, but had a lot of fun with that. And also the Punisher. I was a big Punisher fan as a kid. As far as the comics go. And the Punisher is one of those games where I could not get past the first level as a kid, but later on, I really got to enjoy this game, got a lot farther, and it's really fun, the sort of crosshair shooter like Dynamite Duke and I guess Punisher on Nintendo, other games like that, maybe even like NAMM 1975, a little bit different, but, a lot of fun. But really enjoyed this game. You get to fight Jigsaw at one point. I think he's like the main villain in this game. Anyway, just kind of wanted to share some basic memories of the Game Boy. One of my favorite consoles to collect for as an adult. I have my biggest gaming library is the Game Boy, which at some point I will show off. I'm trying to go for a full set, but honestly, I'm very slow at doing so. Not something I'm rushing towards, because the journey is the funnest part. It's the best part of the experience. Once you kind of get a full set of anything, not nearly as fun. It's kind of empty. So I'd love to hear your memories of the Game Boy, or even a favorite console of yours. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a great rest of the week, and we'll catch you this weekend.